So for today, thanks for showing up, you guys. For the people that are new around here and as you're seeing this time for the first time, my name is Andrea. Your art instructor. Usually specialize in fundamentals for you guys, and we meet here every Tuesday. And we have a one to an hour and a half of free art classes, and I give out assignments and you guys do those and we critique them the following week. And we review them and then tell you how to improvise that, or if you did a great job, then you just get a little gold star. Or you also get a little gold star just for effort and like, not effort, but like dedication. And it's a combination of everything: dedication, effort, commitment, putting in the time, all of that, which I keep forgetting to post the little guy with the gold stars. I have it. I haven't finished it. Every week I'm like, I'm going to post it next week. And every week I forget. Then I don't think we have a lot of submissions this week. So I think I can speed through those pretty quick. And we are going to do a live demo. I keep trying to figure out how to do this setup for us to paint live or like draw live for you guys. I was supposed to get this little guy to go around my neck. So we're going to try that today and see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. I still need to figure out how to get rid of the auto zoom. I know me and Dustin said that we were going to try look into that. But let's give that a test run this week. Just like we did the bird a couple of weeks ago, we're going to do a doggy today. Trying to think about any other admin stuff. Oh yeah, yes, Andrea POV, exactly. And that's a great way of pointing it. That's really funny when you think about that. And hold on, my clip keeps hurting. Then I think I can just put my hair back like that. Then we are gonna trying to figure it out together, maybe what assignment we can do next week. And because I haven't figured out what assignment to do next week yet. So I'm thinking maybe we can figure that out in class today, or you guys can vote, or there's any suggestions that you guys have, we can do that too. I'm open to for that. Oh yeah, the other admin stuff. My mentorship is up. I have one more new person, and right now I think I have 4 spots left. So if you guys want to do mentorship with me, we meet twice a week, or we can work around your schedule too. And we focus both on like your progress, other goals, stranger fundamentals, or if you want to do a specific project, I can help you do that. Or if you're a specific type of goal or something, the type of art style you want to do, we figure it out together and guide you on how to break it down to help you out to get to that goal. So yeah, if you have any more questions about mentorships, send me a message or say Dustin a message. And all the information should be in the Huckleberry Academy website. So yeah, I think so. Let's get going. So let me put this little guy down here. Okay. I am looking for the homeworks. I'm scrolling up, and I'm gonna do what I did last time before. Like I'm just gonna grab them as I go. So the assignment from last week was to, this is Higo. The assignment for last week was to, you know what? I feel like I should make a folder just for each student, like on Photoshop with like a group, like everybody with their past projects there. That way I can like look at them together, how you guys been progressing and all that. So last project, I'm sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. Give me a second. I just came rushing. Gotta settle like that. Where was I? Okay. Last week's project was about understanding values again, about studying values, but this is like a different way to try to flip your brain to think from darkness to light, to trying to pull out the light out of the darkness. So it is about, oh, I just realized something, Dustin. Now that Suji posted my website there, I just realized this. I should put a I should put something on my own personal website like, hey, art classes or tutorials, mentorship, whatever, and have a link to the Huckleberry. I didn't think about that. Yeah. And post it on the Instagram. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, let's look at the website later and see where we put it on the website for like classes and mentorships, and all the information's there, but they need links to the checkout page of Huckleberry. Yeah, something like that. So you go English. So going back to the assignment. So last week assignment was it was a little bit hard. Like I actually struggle with this too, because you know the way that you see the world and you interpret it. It's a whole process of what you see versus how your brain interpret it, and then it comes out through your hand, and how you execute. It's like all those steps. So in my experience, we all have like tendencies of how you see the world or how you process the information that you see. So doing this exercise, I think can help a little bit with those muscles, or like push you a little bit, which is usually we draw in white paper. And I want to show you the difference between just painting with white pencil and in black paper versus this assignment. So usually on regular paper, you know, we use the dark and we create and we build from dark, from light to dark, usually. You know, just keep shading and shading and shading and shading and making it darker and correcting your values. Then some people do the white pencils or white color pencils or whatever with a black background, but they're still treating it the same way as regular inverted, which is they use the white pencil if it was black. So they fill in the shadows, the outlines, they do everything with white. So it's pretty much like what you regularly do, just inverted. So this specific exercise we're doing with the values, it's not that. We are actually pulling out the light. So you're building it, and when you're actually painting with the white is where the light will be. So it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit hard to think that way. So usually the way I build it is like, you know, you start adding little bit by light and add a little bit more and then get closer and closer to the highlights. And that's where you keep adding more and more white. So we're not painting in the shadows. The shadow is going to be the color of the black background paper. So this is a tricky, this is a little bit of a hard value studies. Even like I said, even I struggle with it. It's like a lot of a thinking behind it, or like breaking the routine pattern, like breaking that that tradition that we always have. It's like you just fill in the darks. And I believe this really helps you to start to see light in a different way and understand light, and how to leave the background alone, and that can build your shadow. This type of techniques also helps you, depends which kind of medium you want to do. If you're using traditional, like if you're a watercolor person versus you're like an oils person, or if you're like a scratch board person, or clay board. So even with like a printmaking, it helps you with printmaking, thinking about, this helps a lot with printmaking actually, because you got to think about what you're pulling out is what the ink is not going to touch. Therefore, that's the light, or that's what stays the color of the paper. So that helps with this too. Even like wood carving, sculpting. So it's a pretty good exercise for you guys to try. So now that I went over all that, let's go and see the submissions for this week. This right here was the example that I did for last week. It's not my best, but I tried in real life. I was struggling with it, not gonna lie. It's hard. And so this was my quick example from last week. And this week, let's see what we got. So here we go, Hegel. Oh yeah, let me really quick pull the photos that I posted for the homework so we can all see it. I'm trying to remember where they're at. Here we go. We got this one. We got this one. We got this one. So I'm just gonna put these little guys all together. It's pretty quick. And I'm gonna do what I always do, which is we just desaturate it, so it's easier for us to see the values. So this is one first reference, and then I think we have a couple more. Yeah. I know somebody else that used this one. I'm just gonna pull out the ones that people used. And we have that one kitty cat. Okay. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, you can always go to the Huckleberry Academy, and like we do these live classes. We do it all on Discord, and that's when we submit everything, the homeworks and everything. So what I'm looking at and seeing when you hear me talking and like this or looking for it is because I am looking at our Discord channel where we do and submit the homework for my classes. So if you're looking at this on YouTube, just join us on Discord, and this is where all these classes and everything takes place. It's a pretty cool community. You can have sketchbooks and finalize work, critiques, reference, inspiration, dailies. There's so much. There's so much. It's a pretty good and pretty big our community on this Discord server. Like I said, just follow the link and join us here on Discord. Okay, so I see that Hegel did the kitty cat. Okay. That looks pretty good. I really like that. Another way to do a trick about it, if it's like, let me see, just make it really dark. About there. That's a good way to see it on her case. Well, that's pretty good. Let me desaturate it a little bit more again so we can see it more. Alrighty. And this is for my notes. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Trying to get ready for the critique stuff. Okay. All right, we're good to go. So, okay, so obviously he could put something there. I try to limit to the time I spent so I didn't keep trying to make it. Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Higo, to give yourself a timeline. Yeah, that's pretty good. That really helps you to like get your priorities straight, to get your priorities right. That's really good to do. I'm actually doing that with myself too, with my drawings. It's so hard to not keep coming back. So, first of all, I want to say, Higo, I really like seeing again how you've been pushing yourself and see how you've been evolving from your first animals to this. This is really close to your rabbits, your latest rabbits, and I really like seeing that. I'm starting to see more gesture and more softness, and even your mark making. So like, remember how like for people who haven't seen before, Higo's been with us for a couple of weeks now, months now, since I started my classes actually, and seeing her evolve has been great. Before she draw more like doing lines like this on the edges, and now seeing that she's getting all of this, it's pretty good. And again, like the movement, the weight, like I still have it here for people that haven't seen it, that just want to be new about it. I'm gonna pinpoint it out because why not? So this is Higo. What is this? 3 months ago. Actually, in 2 days is my birthday. So this is Tuesday. So this is 3 months ago. This is now. So look at this, you guys. So I guess the classes are working. And her putting the effort. And putting all that effort and time and passion and commitment and tryout and yeah. So in 3 months, I feel like you're like an ad advertisement, Higo, for the classes. Like, join us. This is how you'll be in 3 months. Only one time a week. But reality, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I don't know how much time you're putting each week on drawing outside. So like how much hours you're putting extra besides this class. But regardless of how much, like this is 3 months. You do transition every day? Well, that's amazing. Well, it's showing because, yeah, you guys, look at this in 3 months. That's night and day. Both like proportions, gestures, lighting, shading, mark making, contouring, the edges, the like all of it, the volume, the weight, it's just ridiculous. So I can, if this is you, Hegel, if keep going. If this is you in 3 months, I cannot even imagine what you're gonna do in a year or two. Like I'm already excited for future you because this is incredible in 3 months growth. Okay, so to the critique. I always feel like he was like my poster child in the class. It's like, look at what you've become in 3 months. All right. First of all, let's start with the good. Again, your gesture, the weight is really awesome. And the lighting is pretty good. I really like that you start applying these things that we talked about in the mark making past class, that you are adding these thicker lines where there's light and the skinny ones in the shadow when it goes away. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like sticker with the light hits. That's very nice. I really like how this came out, this weight of him. I really like that I can feel his weight and his shape. I really like seeing like how this plane changes directions, because you are both telling me with the edge, with the lighting, but you're actually telling me with the direction of the mark making, the direction of the cross hatching, which is what we learned 2 weeks ago. So I really like that you're following the direction of that, of just like when we talked about in the class for mark making. So this is great. So that's great improvement there. Things to make it better is the good old proportions. To just keep working a little bit more on the proportions on your edges. For example, on the original cat, his ears are there, yours is here, and then here's almost at the hip, and yours is about there. But this is always an ongoing thing that we always have to go back and fix and keep an eye for. Or like this little tip of the ear, or like this tip of the ears there, and his is like barely touching his hip, and yours is outside. And I guess stuff like this is completely flat to the ground, and then yours is in an angle. So we're probably going to go through perspective in one of the other classes. I just keeping it 100, you guys. I don't like perspective. It's so boring. I mean, we need it. Everybody feels differently, but for me, it's so boring. So actually, let's do this. Suji, since Suji is moderator today, can you please ask a question poll for the people? Do you want a class on basic 1 and 2 point perspective? Is that something that will help you? Or in like the general rules for like perspective, or pass? Like you're good on perspective. Let me know, because if we need to go over and make a class on perspective, I'm down. I'll do it. I just think it's boring. But hey, if it's gonna help everybody out for stuff like this, then we'll make it happen. So Suji, if you can make that poll for me, asking the peeps for that, that would be awesome sauce. Okay. So I also like how you did the detailing of the face, like the little eye. That's all came out really cute, and like even like this shadow here came out really cute. Very nice. Also, I don't know this type of white pencil, Hegel. I don't know if you can erase. If you can erase, don't feel. I'm just assuming. So if I don't know, but if you can erase, don't feel afraid to always like go back and erase stuff. An example, so if you see like this is darker, go back and erase it. If you can, we don't always can. The whole thing about this that I explained on the last class is like you just don't want to go with the dark and like fix it. If you messed up, when you guys do the technique, if you messed up, just go back and repaint it black, like recover it or erase it and start adding the light again. That's the whole thing about this. So it's not painting the dark, it's painting the light. I could erase some so I didn't do parts of the. Gotcha. Well, it's looking really good, Hugo. Great job. I think I think you successfully did this homework. I did that with the face a couple times to get it like closer. Got, yeah, no, it looks good, especially because like this is the brightest part. And I like seeing that you did the brightest part. And the second one is the face, and you have it. Like these two are almost pretty much the same. So if I pick this, so if I pick this, and then I pick this, there's a little bit of value difference, but it's not that different. You see, it's very low. So this is pretty good. So good job, Higo. Gold star again. You nailed it. You did really well with this homework. Keep it up. I was a little bit nervous with giving this assignment out because I know it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit hard, but I'm like, no, you all need to get pushed. Insert the push it to the limit. Now I want to have the song stuck in my head. All right, I'm picking up the next one. Next one is Suji. Oh, Suji, I just saw that you have some screenshot stuff. I totally missed all of this notification from the class. I wonder why. I didn't see any of this. Thanks for posting the screenshots, Suji. Appreciate you. My Discord's been acting crazy. Like sometimes I'm just not seeing notifications. I notice sometimes if I disable them on the cell phone, it doesn't disable. It also disable them on the desktop or vice versa. But I'm only trying to do it locally. I have to play with that. I did not see any of these. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't answer the questions on the homeworks last week. Okay. So next we got Suji doing the homework. Let's see. I attempted to do the homework. It was actually fun, but my brain isn't very used to this method doing lighting. I try not to spend too much time on it so I don't overwork it. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good way to think about it. So we did the rabbit, precious. So let's see. This is really good, Suji. This is really, really good. Also, I don't know if like how you did it, but like that texture on it, it looks really good. I don't know if you added a texture on top of that's the brush, because it looks really cool. So I have to say, I think you nailed it. Again, nailed it. I don't have my brush and eraser texture. Yeah, I love that. That looks great. It looks like made out of stone, made out of rock. I really like it. So proportions are good. Proportions are great. Gesture are good. Yeah, this is so pretty good. Just a couple of things, but again, it's very, very mild. In general, you have it like 95% there. I mean, we're not perfect. We're not like copy machines, you know. But like if anything would be like if you look at the tear duct, then your tear duct with your leg like that. You know, let's go over that really quick. Let me tell you guys some pointers of the go-to when I am doing what we if you're new here and you're looking at this on YouTube, you can go back to one of the early classes. I think it's like class 2 or 3. No, maybe like 1, 2, between 1 and 3. It's one of the first couple of classes we have up. And it is about landmarks, like you creating like lines and edges so you can have proportions correctly to each other. So let me go over that really quick. And I realized when I had that class, I don't think I told you guys the like my go-tos, like my go-tos that I usually pick when I am doing those imaginary lines or comparisons. You can use a ruler, you can use your pencil, you can use your eye, you can do it digitally. So here, let's say it's digitally. So I'm going to show you where I usually do my to go to for edges. What I mean by to go to, I feel like I'm not explaining that very correctly, is what is going on? There we go. What I mean by that is when I'm trying to check my proportions and when I'm trying to check if things look correctly and they're in the correct positions, I usually have like some key points or locations is what I usually use as a reference to go check. So the first one I usually do, let me see, I'm gonna do a couple of these animals. Usually I do, number one, the outside, the edges. So that's like the first one I do. Imagine they're in a box. I try to do the edges. So like who's on the edge? Those are the ones that I usually do. So what I mean by that is if, let's say in here, if Suji is trying to copy this photo reference on hers, the first thing I do is like usually the edges. So I go to the edges of the paw and I go all the way down. I'm like, okay, so I know it's about this distance from the leg. So I go to her paws and hers are pretty good. They're pretty close. Then I will do another edge and like usually the back, like here, this edge, and I will go like that. And I'd be, yeah, that's pretty good. Like you see her little tail is coming out of that point there perfectly. Then I'll go to the other edge. Well, this one doesn't have a lot of edges. I don't see a lot of them, but like example, maybe it will be here. And if maybe it has like a tail or something, but this one doesn't have a lot of the ones that I use for edges. I will say the cat that I showed before is more for that. I'll go back to it. So example, this one will be, okay, let's do the edge of the face. Like what I mean edge, it means like if you put things on a boundary box, what touches the edges of that imaginary boundary box. So let's see where the edge of the face ends, the farthest out. I'm like, okay, so now I know that the tail comes out a little bit from that. Or if I do the edge of the body, I know this tail comes out a little bit. Or the opposite. If I'll say, that's the edge of that tail, now I know it's about that distance from the back. So the other thing when I do the edges is like I usually pick like the little more prominent landmarks when planes changes, and that's the other one I use. Usually they're on edges too, but not always. But an example of that one will be here. So I pick the little tip of the little places I will pick for that. It will be the tip of the ear, the tip of the nose, this guy, and that guy, probably. So that will be, so like where is the tip of this ear goes down to? Like, okay, I know it goes a little bit in from the leg, it's past the chest, it's behind the face, it's almost like, if you're kind of in this direction, I will say it's 20%, but if you're kind of in that direction, it'll be like 80% from the 100% length of the tail. Or another edge will be this guy. Then I'll be like, all right, so I know that this landmark here does not touch the bump of the back yet. And it ends where the leg ends. So how will that look like on here is I'll pick some of those landmarks, some of those edges. So here will be this little point and I'll go down. So I know and already know that this ear does not, the tip of that edge of that ear does not touch the eye and goes right through the middle of the face and doesn't touch the leg. So you go to yours. I think it's around here, I think, and you go down. So you can tell already, it's like, by doing that, you're like, okay, well, when these situations happen, that's when you have to start troubleshoot and find different edges to compare to. Because then you're asking yourself, well, does that mean I have to move the leg back? Because there is a space between there. Like, do I have to move the leg back? Or do I have to move the face forward and then the eye forward so it matches the more reference? Or is the ear itself? Is the ear that needs to be pulled back more? And that's when you're going to have to start doing other lines and reference to figure out your proportions and stuff, to figure out who's the culprit. So example, if I wanted to figure out if it was the ear, the leg, or the face, so let's do another one. Let's say I usually use the eye for everything as a base, as a point of reference. So example, let's do the but in here let's do this. Let's do this one, the one where both ears touch. So her ears touch here. So overall, I can already start seeing that the face should be more forward. But maybe it's the face or maybe it's the ear. So let's keep trying. Let's keep going. And so this elbow, you see the little pointer right there? So I'm like, okay, so I know the elbow touches the edge of this, the edge of that, of the ear. So you just go down, they're perfectly matching. So now let's look at her elbow. So we know, so hers is like a little bit past it. So in general, when I start pinpointing different things like this, I see that her entire picture, her entire character is a little bit more shift to the right because there's this bump here, but hers is a little bit lower. So in general, I would just say that the character needs to be a little bit more forward in general to match perfectly the reference. Again, I have mentioned this before. These rules are out if you're doing things that are stylization. Stylization or simplifying things, gestures. This is just straight up if you're trying to like follow the reference to the T. Imagine if you're doing like portraits, like if you got commissioned a portrait of somebody's face. It's like you gotta get the likeness to the T. So last one and not least, the last one I always use, which is actually my go-to, is always the eyeball and the inner tear ducts, the inner and the outer tear ducts. Those are the ones I usually do. So I'm like, okay, where's that tear duct? Tear duct, tear duct. So I always use those as comparison, as guide, and I usually compare everything around that. Or here, I'm always like, okay, here's this tear duct, and then there's that tear duct. I usually do the tear ducts as a guide for everything. They're always like my two go-tos. So example, last one, when Hegel did this one, I'm like, okay, let's look at the eye thingy. So if this tear duct, a tear duct. So the distance between her bump and this bump, they're pretty good. They're pretty close. They're pretty much, they're spot on. And so then I do the other tear duct, that tear duct that she has. Yeah, that distance is pretty good. Like she nailed that distance too. But then I do the opposite direction, like this one. The one that's like this, and that's the one that points to me that is off. So it tells me that her tail has to be here. And then this bump gotta be more out. And then this, when this gotta, the second bump is on the other side. So the bump that she put here, it should actually be in the other side of that line. So again, that's like a quick note of how to like do these imaginary lines, or do them if you're doing it digitally. Or I use rulers or my own pencil if I'm drawing traditionally. To give you an example how to get proportions right. So back on Suji, I wanted to say, again, I was just nitpicking because your thing, it looks fantastic. It looks great. You nailed the assignment. Again, when I get these nitpickies, because, you know, trying to give you some pointers. Because I'm, instead of like, oh, good job, that's it. Trying to give some pointers to get better. So yeah, you nailed the assignment. I really like seeing that. What I don't know is, were you painting in the black, Suji? Like you added these blacks in, or you erased them? But besides that, good job. Let's see, next will be, next one is God Slayer. Here we go. I like that you guys are already turning in, making the things grayscale. You're going ahead and make them grayscale. That's great. Okie dokie. That's cool, Suji. Nice. Yeah, it's good that you were racing and like no, I didn't like the blacks. That's great. And like I love the whole blocking it in and pulling back from that. That's great. Okay. So now we're with Ghost Slayer. Let's do the owl. Well, since I already did the owl, let me go and do the, let me do the, this cat since we haven't done this cat. All right. Godsley, I'm very happy seeing how you're doing things more with more gesture. They're looking good, that they're having more gesture and that they're more soft. Pretty nice. I think you did pretty good with the, I think you did pretty good with the assignment, and I like seeing how you have the gesture, I mean the sketches of the lines in the direction of the body of the planes to give the idea of the volume and direction. That's pretty good. And trying to think what else. Obviously no, but like the yours is a little bit more high key, like a little bit more blown. Our easy way, what I mean by that is like, you know, this is your whitest white, and then here it's a little bit darker, I will say. There's no pure white really. Maybe there's a pure white. Yeah, I think that's pure white. But no, this looks pretty good. Pointers will be same thing as before with Suji, just trying to keep maintaining your maintaining the proportions guy things, you know, like, which that's pretty good. I just know in general this head is a little bit too big, or the direction goes there, which is a little bit more straight. But again, I'm nitpicking here, remember that. And this guy is really big. It's almost as wider more than the head. And here's yours is skinny and his head is much bigger. But again, nitpicking here. And I will say this is a little smaller and like yours is all the way big. So if you see this right here doesn't touch that, yours touches that. So there's a difference on that. But this came out really cute. This actually looks more like a raccoon than a cat, and I think that's really cute. So going to the, talking about the assignment, I think you did pretty good. I like seeing how you keep adding the lights. You're adding the lights and leaving the dark. You got your hottest hotness, I mean your hottest spots. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe if your background was darker, you were able to have a little bit of more those deep darks. You know what I mean? Maybe if your background was a little bit darker, you will have been able to have a little bit of the darker darks, to have a little bit of more value range, I will say. Like here, like the tail is like, you can tell in here, like the tail is almost like black compared to in the sculpture, like the tail is darker. So I will just say, yeah, like just have something that you can have a little bit of more dark range, especially around the face, these little guys. But your background was too light. There it is. So, but no, good job. I wonder if it was very hard for you. I'm used to values on the owl. Maybe it's because of that. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if you use the values of the owl, then this is pretty close. This is correct, yeah. Pretty close to the owl. Speaking of the owl, let's look at your owl. There it is. Okay. So the first pointers will be, good job on the lighting. I like that you kept like those red hot spots. The face looks nice. I like how you did this. That looks nice. I like the hearts there. Even this little guy and this little bounce light, edge light. That looks pretty good. How would I make this better? Same thing that we did before, the proportions stuff. I didn't change it once. My hair of the owl was also big and the wing was bad place. So the head of the owl was also big and the wing was bad place, but also realized very late. I feel you. Especially like when you spend all the time doing it and you're like, oh my God, I have to erase and start again. You're like, no, F it. Been there, done that. So, but yeah, so for like in general, even though you already know, just for the sake of reviews for people watching, how would you make this better? Is right now your owl feels like is going like on this plane. This owl feels like it's going on that plane. So what I mean by that is because of the wings. If this is a box, it's like, no, it's almost like this. Yeah, it's kind of like that. While this one is more like that. So let me flip it a bit. So I hope that makes sense. It feels like it's like rotated. So like this is the front. This is the front. It looks like the box is more, it looks like it's like coming more towards you than 3/4. How do we fix that? It's just the wings. Usually the wings depends how they are to each other. When wings depends the angle that they are to each other, how far they are from each other, who is the one that's big. Think of it like a butterfly. That's the best way I can explain it. If, let's say, yeah, this is where it will be like a butterfly. So if this is your butterfly, and then the butterfly, it's on the side, you know, it's like this. And then if it keeps start turning, the front wings like that. And then the more it keeps turning towards you, the more it keeps turning towards you, like that. So depending of like what wing is behind the other one, like how much does it show, and the distance between the tips and the angle of them, it tells you in which direction the butterfly is going. So this one is like, you know, here. This one is there, the direction that is going. So, and it doesn't matter if it's the angle, because sometimes it's like, well, the butterfly is like that. So even that it's going up there, you know that this wing is on the back. And then you can still have the other one. Now it's more like that, like the direction that is going. And the tip of the wings tell you where is it headed. So if the tip of the wings are like this, you know that it's going up. If the tip of the wings are like that, then you know it's going down. And if they're flat, there's like they're coming more towards you. So when I look at yours, this one is a little bit like this is like a little bit higher. And the reason, which I was thinking when we can do a class on that one day, the reason this wing, even that's on the front, looks shorter than this wing is because we have foreshortening. Sergi, can you do me another poll in there, please? Can you ask, do you know what foreshortening is? Yes or no? Or so, but I don't really get it much. I don't know if there's an option for 3. And it's because this wing is equally as long as that one, but because it's coming towards you, it looks shorter. So, you know, if like this is my hand, this is like my 2 hands. But then as soon as like I do the other one, it gets shorter, as you can see. So based on this, and knowing that's a foreshortening, I know that the bird is going in that direction. Yours looks like they're pushing, like he's like pushing the wings back. Thank you, Suji. And it gives the impression like they're both pulled back instead of so much like this. And I don't try to understand why. I'm trying to understand why it's giving me that impression. I think it's because of their angle. Yeah, I think it's because of the angle you have them. Even that I see that you have that distance that we have here. So that's correct. Your distance from each other is correct. I think has to do with the angle they're on. Because I'm also trying to help here, like how can we fix it? How can we correct it? Because I feel like that helps you with the brain on that. So the edge of this, first of all, their size. If you see this wing, it's like double their body size of the bird. So yours is the opposite. It is that the bird is almost as big as the wing. So the body is bigger in general. So the first way to fix this is to make the wings bigger. Second would be the gestures, which this one you have it. This one looks like it goes more back instead of more forward. And by the way, your gesture of the bird, it looks great. That's good. Let's make it clear, your actual owl looks great. I have no notes on that. It's just the wings to help you out with the perspective. And then the other thing will be is the edge of this wing is right above the eyelid, actually. Yours is past it. And this wing goes behind the other wing. Yours doesn't go behind the other wing. So that will be the main thing. It's like they both connect around here. Yours connect where the body is. So they should both to connect around here to fix your wing. Like there. So I will say, yeah, so that's the way. I feel like this is an easy fix. If you want, you can just like grab this if you want to and just be like, there it is. I will just make it big like that. And the back wing, it is more like there and skinnier. And something about there, I will say. And I will take this out. That's like a quick fix. Yeah, that's like a really quick fix. But you see, it's pretty fast. Then you can go back, and refix the other stuff. like fix that angle. Ah, I didn't know I was actually drawing on this thing, on the actual layer. And this guy should go almost straight up. So I will say, and that way you can finally connect this guy where it belongs. Something about that. It's just a quick fix. Also this angle, like more like there, more straight. And then this guy should be a little bit more straight too. Yeah, we're getting closer. That's more like the correct proportions. Again, I know this is supposed to be a show about shading, but I just went on a tangent about proportions and wings. The more you know, meme. Okay, so going back to the shading homework, good job. I think you did a great job with the shading values homework. You kept the highlights hot, the highlights where they are. You kept your darks darks. You put the hot highlights where they belong. Your shading and transition. You did all that really well. So good job on that. Yeah, you did a really good job with the value assignment. Yeah, the wings seem very. At that point, I was burnt out. Question is, if find that the values they use, I mean, dark, wiser, should be darker because I picked the color from the photos. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're pretty close. The only one would be like the eye would be black. But besides that, yeah, I think your values are spot on. The values are pretty good, especially like when I go back and look at them. Yeah, your values are pretty good. What's throwing it off is this, that might give you the idea that it doesn't, is this background. So if I make the background lighter and I look at it, it's like, yeah, this goes lighter, but it's because I painted on top of it so you cannot see it. I covered it on the same, I painted on the same layer by accident. But no, good job. Good job, keep it up. Yeah, you did really good with the values. Okay, who do we have next? We got Dark. God damn it, Dark. You and your cool shit. That's a compliment, by the way, when I curse you out. Look how beautiful this is. Hey, I'm really curious about this Dark. I don't know if Dark is here. No, Dark is not here today. Because I was gonna ask if this homework was hard or not. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is spot on. Like, where this is that? The darkest darks. I really like what's going on here. That even there, that's very pretty. The eye came out beautiful. Even this like little, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like this little light here, like he added the little pads. It's so cute. Again, love the direction of the etching, how it's following the figure, the volume. Very beautiful. This came out great. I really have no notes. This nailed it. But if we want to, again, we can always check the proportion shade that we always talk about. So eyelid down, eyelid down. I mean, not eyelid, it's like the tear duct. Tear duct. You know, nitpicking. The fit should be more like here. And another one I'll see is that this is the angle of the knee. That's the angle of its knee. Or another one will be, let me see where this neck is. That one is pretty good. Or when the I guess that was something I was pointing out before. I use corners a lot for landmarks. It's like anytime something changes like this type of stuff. That's what I meant by edges. Like those are things that I use for landmarks to compare things. So what I mean by that is I will draw a line from where these two tangent, where that tangent is, this little peak, this little connection, that one right there, this one right here, this one right here. That's what I mean by edges. So like example, I will pick where these two connect. I'm like, okay, that way and this way. So here for it, it's right here for him. So that's when I start comparing. It's like, I'm like, okay, you know, the original one, the part of the ear here ends here. It should not pass that line, or it's past the jaw. Here, the jaw passes a little bit. Is below the paw. Here is touching the paw. Everything else seems good. So that's what I mean by those little edges, like this one right here. That's another good one. I'm like, where is the edges on his? So it's okay. This one barely touches the chest. Here passes the chest a lot. This one doesn't touch the connection when the arm. Here is add it or pass it. This one touches the little feet. This one touches the middle of the foot. So again, we're nitpicking here in your script trying to teach you how to do the proportion thing. So like I use corners of these things to compare my line, my imaginary line, guys. So example, like this one right here, this dark one, I'm like, okay, where does that go? Right here. That's pretty good. This one barely passes this, but not too much. The distance in here is bigger than here, but again, no biggie. I think the reason behind it is because the angle of this is a little bit more, you gotta be more tilted. But that's what I was trying to talk about, picking the edges. I was trying to figure out how to explain it because I never had to explain this before. I just do it. Do you know what I mean? Or like the edge where these little two guys meet. Here. That's pretty good. But now I know, like again, nitpicking, I know that that edge going down doesn't touch this edge, that little corner tangent there. But then here is in the other side. So it's just really nitpicking stuff. This is just to help you to like really, when you're trying to do like photorealism, copy and portraiture stuff, because this is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. This is beautiful. Nailed it. Nailed everything about it. This is just nitpicking and just keep pushing proportions. Also, on the side note though, even that in this case is nitpicking, you still need those skills to just get the general figure down. Just so a cat looks like a cat and a dog looks like a dog and a horse looks like a horse. You still need to do this to get those like in the bigger scale. It's just that right now I'm doing them like in a tiny little nitpicking scale. But dark, you did amazing. This is beautiful. Nailed it. Also nailed the values. Like your light is light, your dark is darks. Nailed it. This is gorgeous. A plus. Let me see. Who's next? And last one we got Mossy Rock. Mossy, I already tell you I fucking love this. So I've been working with Mossy. I've been working on Mossy and with Mossy Rock, and we've been talking about doing things in a more stylized way. We've been talking about making things in a more graphic, hard edges way. So I've been talking about that with Moss. And I love how it's already looking. I love it. I love that stylization that you're doing that we've been talking about, Mossy. Yeah. I love those rough edges and the little squarey edges. I'm a sucker for that shit. And how you've been doing the more vectoring coloring, like almost like posterizing that we talked about. Love it. I really look forward to seeing the homework that we're doing in mentorship and how you do that. How you do that. This is really cool. Also, I didn't notice when I posted this photo, but this is really weird here. This is really complicated here. Who's gonna say it? Because this looks phallic. Well, is it phallic if it's female? I never thought about that before. Phallic is male, but whatever. This is a really weird face of an owl. It's like a weird alien thing. Like, I mean, I understand what's going on. It's like this is like the feathers. I guess this is the peak, and then but this is when I posted this, I didn't realize how weird this is, and like trying to understand what's going on to draw it is very strange. So good job trying to interpret that mess, trying to make the best you could here to trying to see like, okay, that's the owl face and one eye, two eye, this is the peak and then that, because this is a freaking mess. I am sorry, I'll pick a better image before. Let me next time. I liked it just because of the how solid the wings are and it was so clear in the edges, but I didn't really pay attention to that face. On that note, my first thought, well, we already said it's pretty awesome. So how do we make it better? The first thing I will say, your values could have been a little bit darker. Like I think you can make it a little bit darker, like there, about there. That's my first thought. Your make the values a little darker, and the next will be which I don't know if you did or not is don't instead of trying to fill this in with darks is use the eraser, like leave the background show through, because I don't know how you build it, but it seems like you make the whole thing gray and then you're starting to add the darks instead of start closely adding it. But I can also see how that can be harder with this type of technique, to be honest. You cheated, sorry. That's so funny. But still, I still think you did a good job. I still think it looks really cool. That's so freaking funny. Um, yeah, I mean, like, I will say maybe this is a little bit lighter. This can be a little bit lighter. Like when I squint my eyes. Let me squint my eyes. So I will say, yeah, I'll make that a little bit lighter and maybe a little bit lighter there. A little bit lighter there and a little bit lighter there. You did got this one right. Looks pretty good. I will just maybe push it a little bit more. Yeah, I think you have it there. I think you have all of it there. I will just push it more. I mean, the information is there. So this is what I will do. First of all, make it a little bit darker overall. Then I think your lightest light has to be pushed more. Like, I think you need like more contrast. Yeah. Like you just need a little bit more contrast. About that. Yeah. So that's before, that's after. I just feel like you just need to add a little bit more contrast. But yeah, or like a little more of detail. Like, so let's see if I was let me see if I was adding A little bit more of detail. But yeah, I think you did a good job. I really like the stylization of this. I think it's really dope. Keep doing it. Also, since you already went to the extreme, to not extreme, but like to put these little details on the edges of like everything, it would be nice too if you add them in the wings, because you have them there. So I will say, since you already put these tiny little guys everywhere, then finish putting them in the other places too. And since you're already going all out with the edges. And I will make this little guy darker too, just a little bit more dark. And this side of the face more dark. But yeah, this technique is hard. Like it's like you have double whammy here. It's like you're doing a hard homework and then you're also doing a hard technique. What I mean by that is like it's hard for me to think of cell shading or like polarizing style. My friend Shayla is amazing at that. I don't think that way. But no, this is cool. You did a good job. Good job, Masi. Looks great. I really like this stylization. I'm so happy that you're pushing more in that direction after we talk. I don't do any of the guys I saw. I normally do scenes. I was trying to do it pretty fast. Yeah. Yeah, doing it. That's what she said to everything you guys are saying. But yes, doing it it's much harder. I mean, it's so much easier to come in and hear like, critique and be like, this is wrong, or blah blah blah. That while you're doing it on this moment, it's hard. Again, if you're new on this channel and you want to go back and see some of my earlier videos about that, that's one of the techniques of why you're gonna see drawings. You're gonna see drawings that when artists are drawing, especially traditionally, you're gonna see that everything looks like a bunch of random lines everywhere. I wish I can like pull it up. I don't have anyone on hand right now, but it will look like something like this. You're gonna see them having like you're gonna see a lot of stuff like this. That's what you're gonna see. If you go and look at the how-tos of like old paintings or even my oil paintings or other artists, and you see traditionally before they start the oil painting or the underpainting, you're gonna see this type of stuff. So they're comparing the proportions to each other and the landmarks and the edges and everything before they go in and fill it up. They're already comparing stuff. So if it was me trying to do if it was me trying to do the fox, I'll go over this really quick, otherwise you can guys go and watch the older videos. But to the fox, I would be like, okay, I know that, let's say if this is my chest, I know the chest goes here. I know from the chest up to the nose. So it's like I know from the chest go up to the nose. It's like around there. So I know it goes from the chest that go up, it's around here. So I know my nose is around here, but it's in an angle. So I gotta go that. And then I know that but if I keep going up, that's almost the edge of the face. So I just keep going up and I know that the edge of the face is around here. But then it turns into an angle. So it's about here. And let's see if I keep going all the way down, it's almost to the leg. the edge of the leg. So I just like keep going down. So the leg on the, I know the edge of the leg is like that. And then, so you start seeing how we build the entire thing like this, but it's like, I'm not doing the exact same edge of what things are. That's what, when you see these old drawings, it's lines about this long for the edges, because you're making them long enough so you can figure out how to connect them. So I already know that the hand, I mean the leg, the leg is all the way down there, and then I start taking it from there. You know, I mean, if I know this is the nose is around here. I know it's about something like a kind of like that. I know it's about this angle, so it's about that angle. So because it's about that angle, I assume the eye is around there, but then I check the edge of that eye is the edge of that mouth. So I go down, I already know that's where the plane change of the mouth. And if I go up, that's that little corner I talk about. So if I keep going up, I know around here, around this area is that ear. And if I go up from here, that's the other edge. So if I go up, then it's like, this is the other one. And if I keep going down from that eyelid all the way down, I already know that the leg is that distance from it. So if I keep going down, 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 I know that the inner leg is around here, like there. And then just go up. And then since, look at the distance from the eye there, this is my line, and then it already showed me that the edge of this chest was the edge of the head, but doesn't touch the nose. So I already know, I already had this landmark here. So I already know I just have to keep going down. And I already know that this one connects to that. And then I just have to figure out this distance. So, and then I have to figure out what angle that is. I know it's about that angle. And then since it's that angle, then that's how you do it. I mean, that's how you build this. So now I know that that's the distance from the ear, the distance that the ear starts from the eye. So you're like, well, about that distance. I know somewhere here is where the ear starts. And then this ear starts right at the edge of the nose. So if this is my nose, I just go up. So I already know the other ear starts around here. And then I look at this angle. I'm like, well, that's about there. So I already had the two corners of my ears. And I'm like, well, where's this little tippy off? Well, that little tippy actually is at the same level as this guy. So I just go up. I'm like, that tippy, somewhere around there. So, and you just connect it. And that's how you start building this stuff. Doing all those little tricks I've been trying to teach you and like how to do. So I already know that this ear starts a little bit above this other one. So I'll just go around here and I already know that that's usually where the other ear will start. And then this guy is around that level. So I just go from here, that my own ear, and I'm like, somewhere around here. And then a little bit below is where the other guy is. And then I go down. I'm like, well, that's almost as wide as my own face. So I will say my face is it's a little bit less. So let's see. Yeah, this distance is almost the same this distance. So this distance is about here. So then I just go up and make that landmark. So boom, I have where that ear connects. Yeah, and then then you start like going for it. Like you can either do the landmarks like I am doing, or Or you can do, you know, you can also just like wing it, you know, like, so that's usually what I do. Like I just like wing it, you know, I kind of like go with the silhouette. That's also, by the way, this is usually also after, you know, I've done the silhouette things that we done before from previous classes, you know, like I usually do the silhouettes before. So we already have this down. So I already know that my head is too little, but to give you an idea, let's even more about that. Actually, my thing gotta be a lot more long. So like usually like that's what you do is like I make my gesture first and then I start doing like the landmarks, you know, you start like comparing it and be like, well, I gotta fix this here, I gotta move this here, well, the leg also goes here. Then I start doing all those landmarks that you guys saw. But traditionally, that's when you see those little edges on paintings. That's what they're doing. They're doing the little landmarks. Well, where was I? Yeah, I was saying that Bossy Rock did really good, and I really love the style, and I hope you keep pushing it that this direction because you're rocking it. And I think I just went through everybody's, I believe. Yes, I already did everybody's. Okay, well, guys, I think we went 15 minutes over. We went 15 minutes over, and I gotta go. So I already didn't get, I think I did enough demos today, though, like how to do this landmark again and the wings and all that. So I think it's that covers doing the demo today. I what were the poll suggestions, by the way? The answer to the polls. I'll start the traditional drawing next week. Then let's start the class instead of review. We do with the demo since I know you guys like seeing the demos. And oh, thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. Oh yeah. So do you want class perspective? 7. Okay. Well, next class we're gonna do perspective. And what about foreshortening? Do we have the answer for that one? 2, yeah. So 3 zeros. Okay. So gotta make a note. We're gonna do foreshortening and perspective. I'll think about for us to do a class on that. For homework for right now, I have not thought about an assignment, to be completely honest. But since I went down again to getting proportions correctly, gotta get going back to the basics. Again, going back to the basics and trying to do that thing I did today to show the landmarks and all of that. We're gonna do this. Let's see how you feel about this. I'm gonna post some photos of some birds, some statues of some birds, and the homework is you guys need to nail down those proportions to each other, the gesture, the proportion to each other, and you can render it any way you want. You can do values, outline, render, color, do whatever you want, freestyle. But the only thing I care about is that you guys are doing this what I showed today. The landmarks to each other, proportions to each other correctly, and gesture, the movement. To that, I know when we do gestures and we exaggerate a little bit, then the proportions get off because you know you're exaggerating. But what I mean by that is like so they don't look so they don't look as stiff. So I guess that's what I was trying to go for. But let's go back to the basics on this. And I'm gonna post some birds also so you can see what we talked about, the angles of the wings. And yes, let's get the proportions to each other correctly to nail those things down. And you can apply whatever you want of everything we learned so far. You can do any style you want. You can render them in any way you want. Have fun with it. Maybe we can do what we used to do before early in classes. Give it a twist. Give it a little crown. Give it a backpack. Give it a bow tie. Do your thing, since we haven't done that in a while. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much for staying. And I'll see you all next week. I'll probably post the homework tomorrow. I'm kind of busy tonight. But I'll post the homework tomorrow. So take care, everybody. Thank you so much. And thanks for the poll, Suji. Appreciate you tons.